Hi, this is Mark, and I'm going to be showing you a video on 5 beginner pet lizards for people who are not experienced with lizards whatsoever. You're watching Mark's Reptile. Stick around. So the very first one is something that is popular and if not the most common is leopard gecko. Is number 5. Yeah, the reason why I put these guys on, I put these guys on the list because a lot of people say they're beginners and they don't need GVB. So, and as you see, they're like this. They have a fat tail like this little guy. If it has a tail like this, but it's a little bit taller, but it's so fat. So, and anyway, what's easy about them is that they don't need a high humidity level. I've never had a leopard gecko because I don't want one because it's so popular. And leopard geckos are extremely cheap, and they can't live in groups because males will fight. Females can get along, but males will not. And for some reason, my African fat gecko Tiny has a stuck piece of shed, which I have to give him a foot bath on something on. So since I like to compare leopard geckos with, this guy, I just like them. The only reason that I don't want a leopard gecko or an adult is because they're active, squirmy, and they can bite even if it doesn't feel like they're biting you, it just feels like you're sand. And babies scream like heck. They don't. That's why they're not higher on the list because they're the cheapest. They're one of the cheapest lizards and popular. And if not the most, and plus they're fast. They're extremely fast. They can run away if given the chance. And let's just move on. Number 4, and this is a very uncommon one: webfoot geckos. Now I put these guys on the list because they live in sand. They eat insects like this guy over here. They don't need much space because they're tiny. And they don't need standing water. They can be in groups. They have a lot. But they're not higher on the list because they're wild caught and they don't do well with handling because they're extremely fast. It's like a cheetah running through the sand. And I put these guys on the list because they don't need UVB. That's gonna go for everyone on this list, even though it's beginner lizards. And they do well in groups. A lot of people will do 3 males and 5 females together. And if you're wondering, which gender is this guy? He's a male, like me. So he is active. He's right now active too. I haven't handled him a couple of days. I only handle him to safety when I'm checking on him. Because I need to stop handling him for a bit. But for now, I'm handling him just for these 2 videos that I'm doing today. Back to webfoot geckos. So the problem is, since they don't have eyelids like true geckos, the problem with uneyelid geckos is that they look like they're dead when they're sleeping. And I also put these guys on here is because their head is too small and they can't bite. Yeah, I don't think their bite is that powerful because their head is so tiny. Alright, let's move on to something super common, like almost as common as the leopard gecko, crested geckos. Now, we're gonna put gargoyle geckos on there because they're unbelievably similar because they come from the same place, which is New Caledonia, and they don't have much differences. So the reason I put these guys on the list is because they live at room temperature. They don't need a crazy humidity level, but they do need a high because they get so dark. So and the differences between these two are only two. Actually three, I guess. The crested gecko has eyelashes, which are not truly eyelashes. Gargoyle geckos have sharper teeth, and crested geckos don't grow their tails back. Those are the few differences that I know of. So, and I put these guys in here because they don't require UVB. I wonder if I already said that. They do well with bioactive, which take a little bit work, but you can. Yeah, because it looks extremely pretty when you do bioactive. Yeah, like Reptilian Garden has a lot of. It's this YouTube channel. It's my favorite, and she has an African fed gecko. Used to not like bioactive, but the Reptilian Garden girl couldn't live without a bioactive, so now Mango's doing perfectly in there. This is not Mango, by the way. This is Tiny. And look, he's wagging his tail right now. That's not true. I'm just wagging his tail myself. And also because they don't have eyelids, they're not that high on the list. Like because of what I said with the webfoot gecko. So and they're pretty easy to tame down. But the problem with them is crested geckos can jump, but gargoyle geckos are a little bit easy to tame down. But if they do jump, they jump higher than crested geckos. So that's why they're not high on the list because they jump a lot. Yeah, and they're fragile. Let's move on to something gaining popularity like this guy right here. Number 2, Chinese cave gecko. This is extremely tough. I wanted to put them on number 1 because they're the easiest to handle in my opinion because they're small, they don't take up a lot of space, and they look cute and they don't need UVB. But UVB works, but it's not required. And I don't know much about Chinese cave geckos because I never had one. Because I just put these guys on the list is because the only reason I don't have one is because I never thought about it. But now I'm starting to think about getting one because I've heard they're pretty easy. Like this little guy right here, they do pretty well with handling. They tolerate it, and like, yeah, and if you're thinking this guy's not talking about bearded dragons or any other lizard, every list I've ever looked at, they talk about bearded dragons or other lizards. It's because they're not be good enough, in my opinion. They need bigger. They need UVBs. They need a varied diet.
Hey, ghost it.
Alright, and you can definitely find them at Reptile Island. You can find them at reptile shops. They're similar to the leopard geckos that have fat-toed geckos because they're in the family Eupliferidae. And they look like this other gecko that looks like that is like lives in somewhere else, but they're not. Yeah, and their size is pretty much very simple. they're 8.5 to 9 inches. So that's the Chinese cave gecko. And number one, you guessed it, African fat tails. Now this is kind of a difficult choice. I wanted any of these could have been on the top, but but they might just be as easy as each other. Maybe Chinese cave gecko is a little bit easier, but the reason I have African fat tail geckos above everything else is just like I have one, and I've heard that they're easy to handle. Crested geckos are a little bit fragile. Gargoyle geckos can jump a lot, and they can jump high. And webfoot geckos don't have eyelids like both of the other ones I just talked about like a second ago. And webfoot geckos are a lot flighty. There's a reason why I think these guys are easy. And comparison to Chinese cave geckos and leopard geckos is that they are incredibly docile. They like to be handled. They are very mellow. They don't bite. Well, this guy bites me like he's bitten me 5 times already. And I could have put Chinese cave geckos on number 1 if I wanted to, but the problem is I don't have any of these geckos. But this one, I'm technically a beginner, so I don't know much, but I know a lot about reptiles. I'm not a beginner expert, but I'm a beginner keeper. And in comparison to the leopard gecko, and leopard gecko only, not a Chinese cave gecko, is they don't scream like leopard gecko babies. That's why leopard geckos weren't as high on the list as these guys, because these guys are a little bit mellow. These guys don't move around as much. Well, this guy does move around, but he won't. And leopard geckos are runaways. They are fast. They can bite even though it doesn't feel like they're biting you. So, all in all, the reason I have this guy a lot right here is because I enjoy him more. Because I love this guy. Yeah, African fat tail geckos, in my opinion, number 1 beginner pet lizards, because I'm gonna get more points later, and plus these guys don't need UVB because they're not turtle too, like most of these guys, like all of these guys on the list I meant, because and like the leopard gecko, that this big beautiful tail that can be lose, but they will grow back. Like the leopard gecko, the gargoyle. And I said the Chinese cave gecko because they're in the family Eublephaриdae, just not the crested gecko. I don't know about the webfoot gecko because I don't know much about them. And these guys are super easy to tame down. They do what was handling. Even wild-caught ones can be easily tamed. I meant wild-caught adults can be easily tamed because this one is a baby. He's gotten larger because I feed him a lot. Because I want another pet next year. So in order to get a pet next year, I gotta get this guy to his full size, which is 9 inches. He's 5 inches. I'm hoping he'll get 9 inches or 7 inches for his full size because he's a male. So, and this guy is super cute. He's cuter than the leopard gecko. Leopard geckos have pupils. And some leopard geckos look kind of dirty because I'm not trying to offend them. I absolutely love leopard geckos. They don't need UVB. They're easy to handle, but they scream a lot when they're babies. And some leopard geckos look like they're gonna be mean when they close their eyes. For example, supergiants. And another thing too is, since I have this guy on a 15-gallon because I don't want a 20-gallon, I don't want a lot of space. Some people say 10-gallon. I kind of agree with this, but not as much as a 15-gallon or 20-gallon. They're easy to breed. They well, they do well in bioactives as well, so you can make it look very pretty. And if you don't want to do bioactive, I'll advise you to keep them on paper towel or newspaper. Don't keep them on red carpet, but yeah, because leopard geckos can't have reptile carpet either. So, and all in all, I think these are the great lizards. They had no frills. They're cute. They no UVB. No crazy requirements. No frills. I think I already said that. And no scratching. Awesome lizards. So that's it. 5 through 1 or 1 through 5, however you want to put it. And that is all for today's video. Bye.